Florida Driver's Manual, Part 4. Blind pedestrians. Blind people either use the aid of a guide dog or a white cane in order to travel. Drivers must always yield right-of-way to blind pedestrians. Vehicles must come to a complete stop. Motorists must also yield right-of-way to handicapped people and come to a complete stop when a disabled person is crossing the street. Bicyclists. Bicycles are considered a vehicle and have the right to share the roadway, with the exception of expressways. Motorists must respect right-of-way with bicyclists. Bicyclists may also ride on sidewalks, but they must yield to pedestrians. Bicyclists must be careful because motorists generally are not expecting wheeled traffic, and cyclists can move faster than a pedestrian. Sharing the road with a bicycle. Florida law requires that motorists give cyclists a minimum of 3 feet of clearance and reduce their speed. On a 2-lane road, passing a bicyclist slowly and only when it is safe to do so. Pass a bicyclist slowly and only when it's safe to do so. At night, avoid using high beams if you see a bicyclist approaching. Do not follow a cyclist too closely in order to have adequate space to slow down in case the cyclist reduces speed or swerves to avoid a road hazard. Before opening a car door, check for bicyclists coming from behind. Avoid honking your horn so not to startle the bicyclist. Bicyclists and intersections. A large percentage of motorist bicycle crashes occur at intersections. To prevent accidents, always be on the lookout for bicyclists. Do not turn directly in front of a bicyclist as they may move faster than you think. When there is a bike lane, you must yield to bicyclists. Signal your turn before crossing on the bike lane to get into the right turn lane. If no right turn lane is present, merge into the bike lane and make your turn behind any bicyclist present. Motorcyclist. Motorists must yield right-of-way to motorcycles. Remember that visual impairments can hide a motorcycle from your view. Do not follow too closely to a motorcycle, as they can stop more quickly than cars. Do not try to share the lane with a motorcycle. Never try to pass a motorcyclist with only a few feet of space between you. The force of the wind from a car can cause the rider to lose control. Motorcyclists may choose to ride on one side of a lane for maximum view. When being passed by a motorcycle, maintain your position and your speed. More motorcycle rules. A motorcycle may appear farther away than they really are. Be sure of their distance when in front of them. Motorcyclists may slow down without any visual warning, like a brake light, when they downshift or are rolling off the throttle. Maintain a 4-second buffer zone between you and a motorcyclist. More in bad weather. Weather and road conditions affect how a motorcycle operates. Wind gusts can move a motorcycle across an entire lane. Wet or icy roads can impair a motorcycle's ability to brake or maneuver. Potholes and railroad tracks often require a motorcycle to change positions within their lane. Gravel roads decrease traction and may cause a rider to slow down or brake where a car would not. School buses. On a 2-way street or highway, all drivers moving in either direction must stop for a school bus which is picking up or dropping off children. You must remain stopped until old children are clear of the roadway and the bus's arm is withdrawn. This rule applies even if there are painted lines or pavement markings between the two lanes. If the highway is divided by a raised barrier or an unpaved median at least 5 feet wide, you do not have to stop if you are moving in the opposite direction of the bus. Putting it simply, whenever you are behind a school bus, you have to stop. If you are driving in an opposite direction of a stopped bus on a 2-lane road, or a road that is divided only by painted lines, you have to stop. Only when there's a barrier like a median strip or an unpaved strip between lanes are you allowed to keep driving if moving in the opposite direction of a stopped school bus. Do so with caution. Yield to public buses entering traffic. They are bigger than you. You are supposed to yield right of way to public transit when it is traveling in the same direction as you. It has signaled and it is pulling out of a designated pull-out bay. Funeral processions. Drivers must yield right of way to funeral processions crossing an intersection. Vehicles in the funeral procession may have their headlights on, even during the day, to show that they are part of the procession. You are not allowed to interfere with a funeral procession unless directed by a law enforcement officer. Driveways. Drivers entering or exiting from a driveway, alley, or roadside must yield to motorists already on the main road and to bicyclists and pedestrians on the sidewalk or bike lanes. Quiz time. The answers will follow the question slide. What would you assume if you saw either of these people?
Hello. All right.
Answer. If you see a person with a guide dog or white cane, you must assume that they are blind. True or false? Number 1, motorists must come to a complete stop if they see a disabled or elderly person crossing the street. Number 2, bicycles are not considered a vehicle and can't share the roadways. Number 3, motorists must yield right of way to bicyclists. Number 4, bicycles are also allowed to travel on the expressway. Number 5, bicyclists are not allowed to ride on sidewalks. Answers. Number 1 is true, number 2 is false, number 3 is true, number 4 is false, number 5 is false. Questions. Number 1, Florida law requires that motorists give bicyclists a clearance of at least blank feet and to reduce their speed. Number 2, true or false, cars are not allowed to pass bicyclists on a 2-lane road. Three, true or false, if you see a bicyclist approaching you at night, be sure to put on your high beams so they can see you. Number 4, true or false, motorists can share a lane with a motorcycle. Number 5, why is it a bad idea to pass a motorcycle if there's only a few feet between you? Answers. Number 1, 3. Number 2, false. Number 3, false. Number 4, false. Number 5, the rush of air can cause the motorcyclist to lose control. Questions. Number 1, where do most bicycle crashes occur? Motorist bicycle crashes occur. Number 2, true or false, you must signal before crossing a bike lane to get into the right turn lane. Number 3, if you want to make a right turn and there is no turn lane, what should you do if there is a bike lane to the right? A, stay in the lane you are in, yield to any bicyclist in the lane, and then make your turn. B, merge into the bike lane and make your turn before the bicyclist. C, merge into the bike lane and make your turn behind the bicyclist. Answers. Number 1, at intersections. Number 2, true. Number 3, C. Questions. Number 1, true or false, weather and road conditions can affect a motorcyclist more than a car. Number 2, true or false, drivers going in the opposite direction don't have to stop on a 2-lane highway if there are painted lines between them and the school bus. Number 3, when is the only time drivers are allowed to keep going if moving in the opposite direction of a stopped school bus? Number 4, what is a sign that a car is part of a funeral procession? Number 5, true or false, drivers must yield to cars pulling out of driveways. Answers. Number 1, true. Number 2, false. Number 3, when there's a median strip or unpaved strip between them and the school bus. Number 4, their headlights are on. Number 5, false. Finis.